Now, being by ourselves, or being quiet, or being what we call alone, is to most persons regarded as a punishment. Nothing could be further from the fact. The individual who cannot make his own aloneness attractive is telling us that he is deficient in satori. He is deficient in value, in appreciation. He is without the enrichment of his own inner life. He turns into himself and finds there only disquietude, fear, anxiety. Therefore, he rushes back again into the humdrum existence which has become valuable to him.
The very fact that you are here at all to listen to this sort of thing indicates, as all philosophy indicates, that there is some unrest. That to be a human being is in some way problematic. That there is such a thing as a life problem. And different people have different ways of expressing it. But there is the reality of what is called in Buddhism dukkha, a very comprehensive word, generally translated suffering, but which might more accurately be called chronic frustration. And I first of all want to try and identify what this human problem is. And we start out from the fact that most of us have a puzzle with ourselves. Not so much with other people, but oneself. Lots of people say that they do various things, like go to the movies, or get absorbed in work, or read novels, in order to forget themselves. Very commonly said, I want to get away from myself. And when we are left alone with ourselves, in silence, and there is no distraction, civilized people, whether they belong to the Eastern cultures or the Western cultures, tend to feel uncomfortable. This is especially true of Americans, who like to live in an environment of constant noise and to keep their minds busy. What is so much the matter with oneself that you can't stand it? And so why? I mean, why am I trapped in this situation?
Try being alone, without any form of distraction, and you will see how quickly you want to get away from yourself and forget what you are. That is why this enormous structure of professional amusement is so prominent a part of what we call civilization. If you observe, you will see that people the world over are becoming more and more distracted, increasingly sophisticated and worldly, because we are inwardly empty, dull, mediocre. We use our relationships and our social reforms as a means of escaping ourselves. I wonder if you have noticed how lonely most people are, and to escape from loneliness we run to temples, churches, or mosques. We dress up and attend social functions, read, and so on. If you inquire a little into boredom, you will find that the cause of it is loneliness. It is in order to escape from loneliness that we want to be together. We want to be entertained, to have distractions of every kind, gurus, religious ceremonies, prayers, or the latest novel. Being inwardly lonely, we become mere spectators in life, and we can be the players only when we understand loneliness and go beyond it. Because beyond it lies the real treasure.
Loneliness is not cured by human contact, by contact with human beings. It is cured by contact with reality.
So before we associate ourselves with people, it'll be good every day in the morning or a certain period of your life, if one withdraws to spend a little time with oneself and see how it can be a little better life than what it was yesterday. Because most people are coming together for their needs. To fulfill needs, people come together and be together because they cannot be alone. This is something that every human being must do. A certain period of time, you do one thing, just 24 hours. You take a break sometime, just 24 hours. And don't read, don't watch television, don't use a phone. Simply sit in your room, alert, not sleeping. And if you watch the nature of your mind, you yourself will certify, this is a madman. Because for most people, their mind cannot stay on any one thing. Unless they're in activity, simply they cannot be here. In compulsive state of psychological activity is on. When you are like this, you cannot be. That means you cannot be a human being. Being has to happen. Only then togetherness will be very rich. If you know how to be by yourself, then coming together will be hugely rewarding and of tremendous value.
It's very difficult to intellectually get to being because we identify with our perceptual experience, with our intellect, with our mind, with our ego identity. So it always seems a struggle till one day you stop struggling and you're there.
I wonder if you begin to understand how profound this is, what we're talking about. Why do you think you latch on to another human being? In a very, very strange, weird way. You think in some way that guarantees your endurance for, you're not quite sure, but you think that is better than the loneliness. I tell you, listen to me. The loneliness, the ache that you have is the answer to finding eternity, and you won't look at it.
Oh, isn't it possible that you're discussing an aloneness in which you have a certain security? You see that people are seeking in the group a kind of security. It seems to me that can arise actually only in aloneness.
Yes, that's right. In aloneness, you can be complete security.
But I wonder if we could discuss that, because it seems there's an illusion there that people sense that you feel that you should have a sense of security.
Right.
And they're looking for it in the group, you see, saying the group being the representative of something universal.
Yeah. Group is not the universe.
It isn't, but that's the way we think of it.
Of course.
The little child thinks the tribe is the whole world, you know.
I mean, a human being, as he lives this way, if he transforms himself, he becomes alone. He is alone. Because he does, I mean, that aloneness is not isolation.
Yeah.
And therefore it is a form of supreme intelligence.
Okay. Well, whatever it is, learning to be with yourself, at ease with yourself, loneliness can be a great thing when it comes transformed through acceptance into solitude. Solitude only arises when you accept your aloneness, become completely present, and suddenly you sense your own presence, which does not need anything, is already complete.
This type of situation may introduce you to the loving presence within. Perhaps you will learn the difference between aloneness and loneliness, and decide to love the person you are alone with.